people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman, I love what she's doing, she's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
Conservative New Media peeps, what's up? It's me, JDV, John D. Villarreal, reporting to you about the debate between Meg Whitman and Jerry Brown that just went down at the UC Davis campus. Now, this was a very interesting debate. As you know, I'm the political expert. I've been involved in national level campaigns from 1988 on, George Bush Sr. So you know about that, you know about the super genius powers, and you know that I've been right about just about every single race and every race that we've been involved in, where almost everyone this election cycle we've been winners on. Now, on this one, this is a tough debate to really score, so-called. Let's just say what happened, and I'll give you my analysis here at the end. Basically, you had Meg Whitman, who was kind of sticking to her talking points out there. Both sides were doing that, but Meg a lot more so, a lot less improvisation. And she was just hammering, about Brown being tied to the labor unions, about being a career politician, how she can come in with her Silicon Valley experience, get California back to work again. She was stressing about jobs. She was stressing about taking on the public employee unions, and she was stressing about making the schools work. That's really what she stuck with over and over and over again. Now, with Jerry Brown, his message was, hey, you know what? I've been in government. I know how it works. It was kind of a Nixon goes to China type of approach, and he was basically saying, look, I'm 72, I don't care anymore, I want to go in there and give it back. I've been fighting for California, I've been a public servant for most of my life, I live with the people, I want to go and make the state work, I love California. That was really his appeal. And he was basically sort of trying to close the distance between them. Meg has always kind of styled herself as this moderate, and with Mike Murphy and that whole gang, that's what they do anyway. And so you really had, Jerry Brown trying to say, listen, I'm the guy that will stand up to the unions, even though they give me money, whatever. And he was, they were both fighting for that kind of territory right there. But Jerry Brown, with his latest commercials, and then again with this debate performance, was saying pretty straight up, hey, you know what? It was almost like, and he was very funny a couple of times. It was almost like he was the George Carlin of the debate. Being the funny man, going off improv and just say, listen, I don't care anymore. I can do the Nixon goes to China thing. And, he was talking about everyone needs to tighten their belt. And then he went to the class warfare. Everyone needs to tighten their belt. He wasn't pandering to some of the questions with the college kids there. Hey, repeal the fee hikes, this and that, whatever. He said, look, we can't do it right now. But he said that the richest people need to do it first. And he was slamming Meg about the tax cuts that she wanted to do, because it's like, hey, that's going to help you and your rich friends. So he played the class warfare section there, saying that the richest people need to, quote, tighten their belt first. He also was hammering down on the green jobs thing. So Moonbeam has now become Sunbeam, saying that the green jobs are, this big man. And do I think there's a case to be made for new technology in alternative energy? Absolutely, of course. We've got whole funds in Silicon Valley devoted to that type of stuff. I think the private sector is the way to do it first, and I've had articles that I was quoted on that we talked about that. We can talk about that in another situation. But there is a lot of let's say a lot of the people in California, a lot of the Democrats and the Green people are chasing rainbows right now. But politically, here in California, that does work. So, I do think that the technology is coming. It's 5, 10, 15 years out there, depending on which sector you're talking about it. I think it is important. I think it should be done in the private sector. But I think that this idea that somehow just green jobs is going, right now, today, is going to fix all of California's problems, no way, when it comes to unemployment, stuff like that. But that's what he was selling. So, obviously, Whitman was stronger on the jobs when she was able to talk about managerial stuff and how she can affect things, and some of her plans. She was on the economy. She was very strong on that. When it came to other stuff, she was a lot weaker on, and Brown sort of took over for most of the things there. They then fought about, Brown said he went up to Bell, California. Whitman kept tying him to public employee unions, and the public employee unions definitely supported, Jerry Brown. So overall, who do I think won this? And I would say that Brown, I thought, was a lot more likable. Whitman is still working on the likability, engaging with the camera. She had some good moments there. you know, who do you trust versus who do you like? That's almost two different people, might be the same person. It's a very close situation. Ultimately, if we look at it in terms of, to me, there wasn't a clear winner. Just being a straight, I mean, obviously I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, I want Republicans to win everywhere, but just trying to analyze this as an analyst that you guys demand from me, being the political expert, I don't think it was obvious that there was a winner just straight off, looking at it. I think that Brown looked more likable. I think that he looked more comfortable. I think you saw the close-ups, Whitman swallowing hard a couple times, looking very uncomfortable. Sometimes she looked better and engaged it. But I think that it comes down to, are people, there is a natural bias against government right now. People know that the public employee union systems and the union stuff, doesn't work and all that type of stuff. I think that people are much more susceptible in this year to what Meg Whitman is putting out there. And I think she was trying to just, not do any harm, right? Play it kind of safe and just say, hey, I'm not that, and I have some business experience. So she succeeded in that. However, I think that with Jerry Brown is, everyone knows this guy. Californians have been trained to elect this guy forever. You're going to have a massive machine mobilizing with, environmental groups and union groups and all the rest of the Democratic groups to get this guy elected. He's moved ahead in the polls. I think his latest ads are effective. And I think what Jerry Brown needs to do is what he needed to do is just say that, hey, I'm not crazy Jerry Brown, and I'm willing to take on these problems and not further the problem. And I think he was able to do that. The question is, do people believe that? But in terms of what he needed to do in this debate, I think that he was more successful in doing what he needed to do. I think Meg Whitman made ground but was less successful in that. It was just a little better than what her commercials have put out there, and she needs to do a lot more to close the sale, in my opinion. Because as we saw clearly tonight, Jerry Brown is a phenomenal campaigner. He may not know, you may not believe what he's saying, whatever, and I don't, in terms of, whatever, but he's a phenomenal campaigner. And even me, as a solid pro, there's times where I'm sitting back thinking, I wonder if Jerry's changed. If I'm thinking that, he's connecting with some people out there. Do I believe that he has? No. I think he wants to be successful. I think if he is elected, he's going to try to tackle the problems, but it's going to be, in my opinion, more of the same. And so Jerry Brown tried to tie, Whitman with Schwarzenegger, and that's an effective strategy. So, but neither candidate did themselves any harm. They both advanced their ball. I think it's a very close debate. I think that Jerry Brown did a little bit better, not to be unexpected because he's done it so many times before. But now there's a big challenge here with the Whitman campaign of what they're going to do. Clearly just dumping raining money on this campaign isn't enough. I know exactly what they need to do to win, and we might get into that in future videos. Obviously, I'm an expert. Reporting for Conservative Media, I am John D. Villarreal, and we will see you next time.